Hi guys, it's another beautiful day on Faunteeshow today, and I'll be taking you with me to meet Norwell Roberts, the first black, man to join the Metropolitan Police, and his resilience, his energy, his vibrance, and his courage is what we're going to find out today. His bravery. This is a man I respect so much, and I hope you also will be inspired listening to him. You can go.
Hello, how are you? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Oh, you're right. Come in, please.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's very kind.
Yeah. So I'm going to start from beginning. You're coming to England, and I read that you lost your dad at the age of 3, and so one wonders how life would have been for you then.
Yeah, well, I was born in Anguilla, that's a country in the West Indies, in 1945.
Okay.
And I lost my dad at the age of 3. My mother came to this country in 1954 with my aunt.
Yeah.
And I was brought up in the West Indies. My grandparents was very strict. My grandmother, she was a real hard lady.
Okay.
No one dared speak back to her, talk back to her.
Oh dear.
My grandfather was a policeman, a local preacher.
Okay.
And if ever I was naughty, they would punish me by putting me in a dress and send me to the shops.
Oh dear.
Which you can imagine that wasn't very nice, but so I tried not to be naughty too often.
I know. So then you came to meet your mom later on in the UK, and that was post war also.
Oh yes, in 1956 I came to this country on a ship called the Napoli. I think it took about 17 days.
Yeah.
And eventually I came by train. I think it came to Calais, and from there to Victoria.
Okay.
And from Victoria, obviously it's the first time I'd never seen so many white people in my life, and I was a little boy then, aged 10 years old. I had a hat on because I was told it was going to be very cold, and long baggy trousers and a big long jacket. I looked a right sight, I can tell you.
Oh. So how would you describe Britain then? How was UK then, as in the lifestyle, the people, the social, generally?
At that time, it was very hard, much harder, certainly for black people then, because when I went to my primary school, I was the first black person that anybody in Bromley had seen, and then I went to secondary modern school, and the sixth formers dropped me on my head to see the colour of my blood.
Oh dear.
Surprise, surprise, it was red.
Yeah.
And but it was just a lot of racism. You'd be called all sorts of names. People would stare at you, but you just got on with it.
How was that for you? How facing all those as a child, still in school at that tender age, teenager. So how were you able to cope with such? Especially the one that it drops you on your head.
Yeah.
And so what did you think of the people?
Well, you have to remember, I have to take you back there. This is 1956.
Yeah.
It was a little bit different then. You had no redress. There was no recourse to anything. I just got up with it. Just brushed my head off, went to hospital, had a couple of stitches, and just got on with it. And funny enough, one of the chaps who dropped my head wrote to me the other day. He tracked me down and wants to meet me.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
Well, that's a long time ago. I'll remind him about it if we do meet. But of course, that's a long time ago. And
I know.
A lot of water has gone on the bridge since then.
But now I know that there was no kind of social recourse or or anybody fighting against racism at that time. But emotionally and psychologically, how were you people keeping sane?
You just got on with it. You either floated, swim, or you sank. That's a choice, a stark choice, but that was a choice.
I know.
And I didn't want to sink, so I swam.
So now, but looking at what is happening now, do you think, has the world moved on?
I think it's moved on, I would say slightly. But I think racism is still there, but it's what I call latent, or it's covert. It's not obvious.
Yeah.
But it's a hell of a lot better.
Okay.
Than it was then.
Okay. Now, but let's say within the time when you came to England, before you left Anguilla, is it?
Yes, Anguilla.
Before you left Anguilla, you would have had a kind of picture of where you're coming to. And then when you now landed and you started facing the racism and all that, when you compared your home with coming here, were there regrets, or how was it for you?
When I came here, I mean, it was different because we were told that there was snows as high as mountains, and that it was so cold, and there was white people obviously, but that didn't really affect me at all. You must remember, as a child, you're young and you just get on with it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
As a grown-up, obviously, we think, as grown-ups now, we think, if only I had done this, or if only I'd done that. But as a child, you mix with the other children.
Okay.
Some of them were horrible, obviously, but most of them were very good.
Okay.
And it's unfortunate in a way because, having been brought up in Bromley, I had no black friends.
Okay.
Which was, I think, I would have probably fared better had I had a few black friends.
Okay.
I've never had any black friends.
Okay. Now, let's fast forward into becoming a policeman, and joining the Metro.
Yeah.
You were a lab technician.
Yes.
What inspired you or motivated you to leave your career to join the police? Why did you have to join the police?
Well, I was a laboratory, having left school, I was a laboratory technician for University of London for 5 years. I then took the City and Guilds exams and got a lot of exams and did quite well. It would then qualify me to become a senior technician or even a chief technician. Excuse me. But the job was like dead man's shoes. I was never going to get that. So I saw an advert in the Daily Mirror one day which said London needs more policemen. And I thought I'd just apply for a laugh. Clearly the joke backfired, because I was accepted and became London's first black policeman.
So you said you just did it for fun, and
yes.
They took you. So was there any kind of feeling that did you ever felt that you shouldn't go ahead with it?
No, I just did it for a laugh. I didn't know what to expect.
Okay.
I didn't expect to get through, actually.
Okay.
I was just when they told me I was accepted, I was no one was more surprised than me.
Okay, so what did you make out of it then? When you now joined, how was it for you?
It was very difficult. When I joined, obviously, in training school, it was okay. But when I went out on the beat, on the first day, my reporting sergeant, he said, "Look, you nigger, I'll see to it that you never pass your probation." I just said, okay, I shrugged my shoulders and walked away. The other policemen spat at me. They threw cups of tea at me. I was ostracised. My uniform, the buttons were ripped off my uniform and chucked away. My uniform was put behind cupboards where it was dusty and dirty, so I couldn't find it.
And this happens often, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, within that first 3 years, oh yeah. Matchsticks, they put matchsticks in the keels of my car. You probably won't remember this, there's a coin called a half a crown. It has a serrated edge. That was scratched on the side of my car. My tyres were slashed, and my car was towed away to a car pound on several occasions, and I had to pay to get it back. This is all by the policeman.
Okay. Why were they doing that to you? When you are the minority, why would somebody be doing that?
Because they wanted me to leave. People in life resent change. And the police force started in 1839. And if you can imagine, there's no black policeman, there's an all-white outfit. And all of a sudden, this black bloke comes along there in 1967. Who does he think he is, sort of thing. And they did their best to get me to leave. But I put a bit of credit on the people who gave me the opportunity. I mean, it could have it could have gone wrong.
Yeah.
Because I could have left after 3 years. So one of the things, a very bad time for me was one day outside Covent Garden, the Opera House. I was walking there in full uniform, in a nice summer's day, shirt sleeve order. The area car went by, and the driver shouted out the window, "You black cunt." Now, I felt about 6 inches tall. I felt very small, because other people, members of the public, obviously heard that, and they looked round, and I just sort of, fortunately I was near the police station, so I just went to the police station, and I thought, that's enough, I've had enough of this. I went up to see the chief superintendent, which was the boss then, and told him what had happened, and he said to me, "Well, what do you want me to do about it?" I was the first black man to join the CID, the first black man to get the Queen's Police Medal for distinguished service.
Yeah.
And a lot of the blokes I work with, they haven't got that.
Then there was this media frenzy around you as well, scrutinizing every move that you did. How were you able to cope with everybody's eyes? Where are you?
There has always been a media frenzy around me, because the first will always be very important. I once said to a reporter, "Why do you keep picking on me?" She said to me, she gave me a good analogy, but I've never forgotten it. She said, "Because you were the first." She then asked me, "Who was the first man on the moon?" I said, "Well, Neil Armstrong." She says, "Who was the second?" I said, "Well, I don't know." She said, "Exactly. Nobody ever thinks about the second, just the first." And even now, I'm always referred to as London's first black policeman. Or the word they used then, in those days, was coloured. Did you know that? Yes, coloured was the word that was used.
Okay.
For
black people?
Yes. In my, when I knew I was going to get into the police force, the paid newspaper said, "London to have first coloured policeman soon."
When you read that, how did you feel about it?
I didn't know it was me. Again, same as this award. I really didn't know it was me. But then I thought, well, I'm the only one who's applied. And the chaps who were around me said, "It must be you." And obviously it was.
What experience lingers in your mind from your time in the police? What do you remember vividly all the time?
I remember the members of the public, because although I was treated quite badly by the policemen themselves, the members of the public always treated me very, very well throughout. Because I used to work at Covent Garden, and in the old Covent Garden, not where it is now at Nine Elms, it was in the West End, Covent Garden. And there were market porters there, and everybody thought I'd have a rough time with the porters. But no, they treated me very well. And all the members of the public, it was fascinating obviously to see a black man in a blue uniform, but I've always got on well with members of the public, and still do actually.
So why do you think that? Is it you, or is it what was that? Why was it different?
I think I've got a bit of an understanding personality. I remember I was once doing point duty in Charing Cross, outside in the Strand, and a lady came up to me and she started talking to me, so I had to leave the point duty and go to the street, side of the road. She was an old lady, and she told me her life story, and all she wanted was someone to talk to. And at the end she said, "Thanks for talking to me." She said, "Our policemen don't do that." And that to me told me a lot.
Yeah.
And I was only talking to her, which policemen are supposed to do, I believe.
Okay. Now, when you received, when the Queen gave you the QPM.
Yes.
How did you receive that? How was that for you?
Oh, I was extremely proud, very proud, to be up there and just to receive it. And he said to me, "Well done." He says, "We need more people like you." And I said to him, "I think you need a few people, black people in the Guardsmen yourself." And he said, "Yes, we do." And then he said, "Keep up the good work." Okay. Well, I was very proud, and still am. I wear the medal with pride. In fact, I brought it to show you.
Now, in the police force now, now that you've retired, do you think that that diversity that everybody's talking about? Obviously, there are more black people in the country. That in fact, there are more, different cultures here now. Do you think there's a reflection of that in the force yet?
There are some, but not enough. Not enough. I had cause to go to Hendon to a last passing up parade a few weeks ago, and I was so happy that so many black policemen came up to me. They found out that I was there. People I've never seen before, probably never see again. And they said, "Oh, we're really pleased to see you. Thank you for what you've done." And of course, it's only now that I realise that the fullness or the impact I must have had by doing 30 years.
Yeah.
Of course, I hope it's not like that now. That they wouldn't have to undergo such a harsh environment as I had to. I put in an application to join the Crime Protection team. After about 4 weeks, I went to the inspector and I said, "How's my application coming on? What's happening?" And he said, "I didn't put it in." In other words, he didn't want me to get it, so the application sat on his desk for 4 or 5 weeks, not moving. And he just said, "I didn't put it in," just laughed. That hurt me, believe it or not. And that was very late in my service. I think I had about 25 years service in then, and that hurt me a bit. But they were never going to beat me.
With one word, how do you describe your years in the police?
Testing.
Why?
You want more than one word? Why? Because of how it started, how it continued through my service, and what I went through, and come out at the end, still smiling.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.